Oh, welcome back everyone. Look who we've got for you. We've got a leopard that is eating a late lunch. Now, it's very difficult to see which leopard this is, but I think it's our young friend named Hosana. But it's very difficult to tell, as you can see, because he's buried in the grass. And the reason why I say I'm not sure that it is him is because I know that his father, whose name is Tingana, he is the resident male in this area, so he actually lives here. Remember how we were talking about Egyptian geese being territorial, how they protect their homes? Well, leopards do the same thing. And I know that his son, Hosana, who's not supposed to have any conversations with him, but they have a very strange and interesting relationship. The two of them hanging around together, well, more so Hosana trying to go and visit Dad all the time, but he doesn't want to talk to him because they normally leave when they're young. The boys, or the male leopards, don't play any part in raising the young cubs. It's just Mom that normally looks after them. And I don't know if he's come in here and maybe stolen the kill away from him, but I think it is young Hosana. But hopefully, I don't know how much meat is left on that little antelope. I think it looks like a little dacre, which is quite a small antelope. And he'd eat that quite quickly. Well, both Tingana and Hosana would be able to eat that very, very, very easily. Oh my goodness. Now, obviously, leopards are very strong creatures and so are lions. But it seems as though Tristan has found one of the strongest of them all. He is munching his lunch and he's enjoying every minute of it, Tristan. And I bet that he is happy and that he's got a meal to keep his belly nice and full. Now, Ryder, if this is the young prince that we're thinking of, and Hosana, and I'm just looking at his ears look nice and neat. His dad's ears are very, very tatty in comparison to his. So he's just over 2 years old. So he's still quite young, but he's a big boy, especially when he's just eaten so much food. You know what happens when you go to a buffet, or if you've looked at Mom and Dad after Christmas or Thanksgiving. Hey, how much they can eat. Now, we're obviously not seeing him on the go, but leopards can move around quite amazingly. And Amani, they can run really, really fast. But what's more exceptional than how fast they can run, it's basically how many meters they can cover in just a couple of seconds. So a leopard can charge at 24 meters per second. I have no idea what that is in miles. I'm very sorry, I don't have much signal to try and convert it, but maybe your teacher can help you out. So 24 meters per second is his charging speed. And I reckon at top speed, a leopard could get to about 70 kilometers an hour, but that's not going to last very long at all. It's a very, very short-lived chase that. It's like the same with lions. They can only run it for a little bit, but they rely on stalking and getting up close to their prey and right underneath them before they pounce. But you don't often see leopards running at full speed unless they're being chased by a lion. Wow. So per foot, I suppose that would be, is that 3 feet per second? If I'm right, how fast would that be? So say again, Bex, 53 miles. I don't know, what's the conversion? Can someone do the entire conversion? Because I think 1 meter is equal to 3 feet. There we go. Well, they can move very quickly. They can run a lot faster than you and I could run. Now, if we look very closely at these leopards, you'll see that they haven't quite just got spots on their bodies, Rylan. They've got rosettes. So that is why leopards have rosettes and spots on their bodies for camouflage. So you can see how that actually helps blend into the vegetation, into the trees, into the leaves. They're not going to be spotted very well at all. So it's quite cool the way that they're able to conceal themselves like that. But all animals have got different types of camouflage. But next time we'll talk a little bit more about camouflage when you join us again. But thank you to the 3 schools that jumped on board Safari with us. We loved having you today, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your school day. And, well, remember to do your homework and listen to your teacher. Don't be too naughty in class. But for the rest of you, we'll chat again soon. And in the meantime, I'm going to send you across to Steve. Otherwise, Tristan, I think you're going to have to show us how you can make an umbrella out of, I don't know, some leaves. I'm trying to give Tristan a challenge this afternoon. He's going to build an entire shelter for us. Wouldn't that be quite funny? Tristan the caveman. Anyways, we're with Hosana, who's not a caveman. He's a beautiful young prince who is feasting away. I don't know how much of this daycare is actually left because it's, well, you can see what I'm seeing. It's very difficult to see what's going on in there. Can hear some crunching though, so perhaps he's chewing through some of the leg bones. It does look like he's got a leg there, hey? And because a daycare is such a small animal, I mean, a leopard has got a strong enough bite force to be able to clamp his jaws on down and chew through some of those smaller bones. It's not just the hyenas that can get the bones, but their digestive system is slightly different, and they aren't able to digest the bones to the extent that hyenas are. That's really cool, eh? With those big teeth. I'm glad Tingana hasn't found him just yet. He better gobble that up quickly. Perhaps that's why he's having a mid-afternoon snack, trying to get rid of it as quick as possible before somebody else does come through. Although I don't think he's going to have a problem if a hyena comes around and there's a big Maruda tree quite close by. He can just take it up. Like I said, in comparison to the size of Hosana, a daycare is small. And he's a fairly strong cat. Although, Brent's had a couple of cracker sightings, and Jamie, and, well, even myself and James, where they've toppled on around on very flimsy branches. And to be honest, I haven't seen Hosana taking a kill up the tree, and so I don't know how majestic he is. Perhaps he is a clumsy clut, which is quite funny. And we always tease Hosana, we call him the clown, because that's what he is. Just his entire mannerism around Tingana, just the things that he does. It's always like he's getting up to no good, but not sort of maliciously. He can't help himself, which makes him so funny to watch. But I reckon by this evening he'll probably be done with that and be off looking for something else. I don't know when he actually killed it. I think Tristan was here. You were here with Tristan, hey, Senzo? Had he just killed it, or do you think he'd been eating on it for a little while?
No, he wasn't eating it. He killed it.
Oh, okay.
And then the other male came to see if it's the female still alive.
Ah, okay. Very interesting. So it's a fairly fresh kill. But I don't think he'll leave it on the floor tonight. I think that would be a silly mistake. This area around Chitwa seems to be a corridor for the hyena. You always see hyena tracks here, and I can't tell you how many hyena sightings I've had in this area. With their super sense of smell, they might pick up on the scent and the wind is swirling quite a bit, or maybe they'll even hear him gnawing on the bones. So Steve's not going to be able to stay here for too much longer. We will lurk around in the area and see if we can't jump back in a little further down the lineup. But I'm hoping he's just going to keep gobbling this up and eventually go for a little drink of water. There's a couple of pans that are not too far away from here, and after a big meal like that, you can expect a big cat to go for a drink to quench their thirst, also help them with digestion. He's just munching away. I'd love to know how much is actually left. I also can't see the size of Hosana's belly, if he has just been tucking into this kill for most of the day. It hasn't been hot. Been a couple of moments where it's been on the warmer side of things, but generally it's been quite cool. Lots of clouds constantly passing over. You can see there's a bit of a breeze. Actually, we're quite sheltered here. It's a bit more than a breeze, but I'm sure you can see that with Tristan on bushwalk. You see how he's using his feet to just hold that kill in place as he tries to scissor away with, using the carnassial shear, try and cut through some of that flesh. Philip, you've just mentioned that the male leopard politics have been sort of a bit crazy at the moment, and you've asked how are the female sort of politics with the leopards. Just as crazy as it is with the boys, I'm afraid. With Hukumuri coming on in, that's obviously caused a bit of a stir, and we've definitely seen the leopardesses of the northern Sabi Sand, or the ones that we see around Djuma, around sort of Torchwood, Arathusa, Simbambili, Chitwa, all these places, has definitely changed, and they've retreated wanting to keep out of the way, especially the leopards with the young cubs that weren't sired by Hukamuri, and they're going to want to stay clear. So it's a bit strange at the moment. We're not really sure what's happening with Thandi, whether it was her tracks that I had with a set of cub tracks. I know Brent was saying he thinks it's the leopard from Buffelshoek. The only thing, though, is that I'd driven all those roads, and there was already that sighting established in the morning, and these tracks were fairly fresh. So I'm still uncertain. I mean, Thandi's behavior points to her losing the cub, but we won't know for certain, will we? I mean, she could have just gone into serious stealth mode now and hiding that little one away. And then we don't know where Shadow and her little one have gone either. Remember, we can't drive everywhere. And not everybody is in tune with the leopard characters or the lion characters, as some of us are. So they could have moved anywhere, and they might just be being called a different name, and we're overlooking something. So she could have just moved further south, further west. Who knows? Maybe she's even moved into the Manuletti. It's very, very difficult to sort of say, and we just got to wait and see until we get an opportunity to find all these cats again. But perhaps things will settle down soon enough. It's interesting though, hey, everything's a bit weird. Leopard dynamics, lion dynamics, big storms rolling on in, last of the rains before the dry season sort of hits us. It's all happening at once. But unfortunately, we are going to have to make a move, because it does sound like there are a couple of other guides that want to come into the sighting. But like I said, we will try and come